When we last heard from our drive shaft, it had a bad U-joint up here, and it was leaking right here. Now, I went ahead and replaced the rear seal, and I also swapped this yoke. This was the yoke from the old drive shaft I had on there. I swapped it out because it had a perfectly good U-joint on it. Onto the new drive shaft, took it out for a little spin, a little spirited drive around the block, and it worked like a champ, and it is not leaking. Not leaking at all, so I'm happy about that. Colleen actually helped me get the U-joint out of the new drive shaft there. I made a tool actually to help with it. I call it Stonehenge, but it's basically you press against the ears on the drive shaft or the yoke, and then down into on the other side, you'd be pressing the U-joint out into like a socket or a cup or whatever. But Colleen helped me out with that. So that was real nice of her. Of course, on the press, and that was pretty awesome. But yeah, I'm still kind of like, I need to do the work on the floorboard to get the safety inspection run. But I wanted to fix that drive shaft first because it was kind of easy, and I've got Uncle Steven coming over this weekend, so I want to make sure that it's all running and all put together when he gets over here so I can check it out, because I'm going to need to tear the seats out and the carpet out and everything out of the inside in order to get that floorboard all fixed up. So chugging along. The drive shaft looks, well, it doesn't look good, but at least it's working good. I'll take it off and paint it at some point, but not right now. Some absolutely gorgeous mid-February weather we're having. Got maybe like 3 inches last night. It's all melting today though, because it's like 40 degrees, 40 something. Got my seat out, check this out. It's freaking barren in here. Oh my God. Probably be able to see it a little bit better from the other side. Anyway, I just trying to get the seats out so I can get this carpet up, and I was having some problems getting these little screws out. I might have to drill them out, but right now I have to take the seat belt bracket out on this side. I'm gonna see if I could just peel up this side and get to the problem area underneath of it. Maybe that'll be good enough. I'll do a good inspection from underneath, I think, to just tell whether or not I have to take the whole thing out. But it would be a lot easier if I could just peel up this corner and do it. But I gotta take all this hardware off back here in order to just get this lip off of this carpet. Anyway, working on it. And there's an empty truck. This should let me drive it back into the garage. Oh my God. Finally got both of the rear compartment plastic pieces of shit out of the way. Oh my God, this was the worst thing. It was stuck in there with a stud coming out of here that you had to I had to use vice grips in order to ratchet, clamp it on there as freaking hard as I can and twist it. Even with that, it was slipping a little bit, so I put heat on the bolt on the bottom just to get the damn thing out. But when you're using vice grips and releasing the pressure on them, you want to make sure that you're kind of clear of the danger zones. Anyway, I got all of this is the main plastic thing. It goes all the way across the back, and then inside of this little compartment goes underneath of it really goes the spare tire tools stuff, and it's clamped down with this stud that comes out like this tall. I presume to kind of clamp down the jack in this area, but I don't even know if I want to put that stuff back in, because I'll have more room for a subwoofer if I don't. Anyway, look at how much glass. Look at all this glass in here. I saw this while I was vacuuming the thing out. I got most of it vacuumed out, but while I was vacuuming it out, I see a bunch of glass, and I think this rear window had been replaced before. Makes sense, because all of this glass that I'm finding is all along the back here. So and this thing was a pain in the ass to get off too. It goes on with these bolts through the bottom here, But for this one, it just would not budge. They're these big, giant Torx bit is like this. They're like, it's like an Allen key, except it's, well, it's like 9 points or something. I don't know, 7 points. Anyway, it wouldn't budge. I even got a new set of 1/2-inch drive Torx wrench. This is a T50. But in order to even get it to move, I had to put a flame to the bottom. No, actually, I cut the bottom of it off. I cut the bottom half of the bolt or the nut off just so that I can get some movement on the top itself. You can kind of see it there. It's like the nut part is cut in half. Anyway, this is coming along pretty good. I should be able to have the carpet out pretty soon. I just got to remove the 4x4 center section, this section right here, and I've already taken a couple of the screws out. So, oh, focus, there we go. I've already taken a couple of screws out on this side, so that'll come out, and then I think that's the last thing holding the carpet down. Oh shit, no, this side, I got to take this little side panel off here, which on the other side, when I took it off, just, oh man, I ended up having to drill these little bolt heads out, like right here. Yeah, I'm not getting this. I might be able to get a screw on that, or a screwdriver on that one. But like you can even see up here, this has been kind of worked on before. That's where the original one goes in, and it's doesn't work anymore. Obviously, it's got a sheet metal screw up there. So I'm just gonna freaking rip these things off and get the carpet out. I want to see what's underneath of it. Actually, I got peeling back the carpet over here on the side, on the driver's side, where the failure was blamed on the safety test, and yeah, it does look pretty nasty. I was gonna fold this edge up and see what I could do from just this side, but like that hole is actually a lot bigger than. Don't know why this thing keeps cutting off on me like that. I think maybe I have a low storage. Anyway, it's a lot bigger than I originally thought. When you just mess around with the hole a little bit, you can see all this metal needs to be replaced. So I gotta get in there, and I'm gonna just take the whole carpet off and get in underneath of it and see what all else is damaged. But I think mostly it's just this side here. Cut the carpet out last night. It looks disgusting out here in the open. But at least it's out. I was thinking about getting maybe a replacement for this, just because it's really, really bad. It's filthy and disgusting. Anyway, I got the, it's kind of what I suspected. It's just this area right here, mostly in the middle section, that's really bad. That some of it needs to be cut out. The other side, though, looks pretty good. There's an old cigar under the carpet. Anyway, I was beating on it with a hammer just to make sure that it's solid. I've got this little tack hammer out here. And I cleaned most of this stuff up last night just to see where, you can see kind of like some of it is just really leaking through here. And I'll go from underneath of it to figure out exactly how much I need to cut out, because you'll see rust through on the top and the bottom. But there's just like mud caked in the side here, and I'm not surprised it's as bad as it is. But like you can see, like here, it's got like a little bit of scale. I've just been kind of like knocking it off a little bit. You can see it kind of flakes off. And so I want to get down to like just good metal that I can weld to on the rest of this. I don't really know how much I need to cut out, but this really isn't that big of a spot at all, and it's mostly flat, so shouldn't be too hard to do. The rest of the cab looks in really good shape. It's just where your feet go is really the only place that's kind of messed up, and this side is pretty bad, and that other side is fine. It's just a little rusty on top. I'll clean that up, but this stuff some of it needs to be cut out. The deeper you dig, the worse it gets, right? That's always the case. Anyway, I got this all needle descaled, and you can see, like in the center here, this this whole section, I think, along this seam really needs to be reinforced from about here all the way up to about there. I'm going to cut out along there, and then in the middle it needs to have this section. And there's a small hole up here that is actually surrounded by good metal, but that little hole there, so I'm going to just cut a little section out there and fix that, patch that in place. On the other side of the seam, this area right here is kind of bad, right? So I'm going to cut this part out and put some new metal in there. But it's kind of like a, you know, if you look at it, the real problem is right there. This is like a, it's like a panel, it's like a hole that, if you see, it's like a plastic thing, and this is where all the water's leaking in. And I guess some of it goes over to the other side, but you can see it real bad, like it dips down into here. And I finally got this this wire guard off here. This holds wires going back to the stereo speakers, but you could see just how filled this is with just corrosion. I was poking my screwdriver in it, and it's just, I mean, there's places with just full-on holes in here. So I've gotta get that whole section repaired as well. It's in really bad shape along here. So there's a lot of metal along this side that needs to be replaced. So no big deal, it's just rust. It cuts out and new shit gets welded in. Another view of this sill before I make any cuts here. You can see how bad that is. It's just rotten all the way down. I'm gonna have to replace pretty much that whole section in there. It's like a little gully. This is where the wires run down underneath the carpet. And then the other stuff that I had already kind of cleaned up. But I think I'm ready to start cutting. I picked up because after I got that all cleaned out, I picked up a sheet of just a clean piece of sheet metal to start with. So I got like a 3x2 foot section. Oh, section, I said. Anyway, that should be enough to cover that floor panel. All right, incisions have been made. Look at this empty sill channel right here. It's all the way up and down. That was just terrible. That was probably the worst metal in this whole thing, and I didn't even expect that to be, well, there was no holes underneath of it when I, went up for inspection. The only hole was right over in this section. But I cut out a lot of the metal here. First pass kind of deal. The rest of it is surprisingly in good shape. You can't really see it, but the bottom still has paint on it. This is thick metal. This is thick metal over here. And yeah, I think if I make panels for these sections, then it should be good. I might make that one a little bit bigger, or depending on, I want to get underneath of it and look back here at the metal underneath on this side to see how bad that is back there. But yeah, I think the cuts are done mostly. So just got to make some panels and get welding. Now the internet's a wonderful thing for finding all kinds of funky ideas. So this carpet, like I said, man, it is just destroyed. It can't get any worse than this. I already said my one option is that I could buy a new carpet, but I hear people pressure washing this shit on the internet, so I'm gonna give it a shot. I got a pressure washer, why not? So as long as this thing starts, which, whoa, as long as it starts, oh yeah, it'll start. Anyway, I'm going to give it a shot and see what we got. Well, I don't really know how well that did, but there was a ton of dirt that came out of it. It still kind of looks filthy, but I don't know, man. I mean, at least I know it's not as filthy as it was. I've seen worse carpets. I mean, this thing isn't really ripped up too much. There's a couple of spots that are worn a little bit a little bit thin, like right there a little bit. On one of the edges over on this side a little bit. But other than that, I mean, it's mostly there. So, and that gets covered up with like a floor mat anyway. So, anyway, I'll let it dry and see what's up. All right, well, I went over it one more time with the pressure washer because, I don't know, it looked a little dingy still. I put a little 409 on rough spots, especially over here. And to be honest, I think somebody like spilled a quart of oil on this side, and like, because when I spray it out, you can see the oil slick going down the driveway. So, yeah. Anyway, like I said, I don't know if this is any better or not, but I'm just gonna send it. It's good enough for me. Got all my panels cut, and I've got them sitting in here kind of loosely where they belong. Probably the most difficult one to cut was this one right along here. That whole section needs to be put in place. So, cut this for it. Other things are like this big one right here, covered with this little panel here. This little section here for that hole, and then this tiny little cute little piece for that hole over there. Got my welder out. She's ready to melt some metal. So yeah, let's get this floor fixed. I took a closer look to the other side there, and it looks like it's not. Let me just crawl in here. Just crawl in. It's not that bad. This is just basically surface rust and people like wandering in and out. And there's oil. Like I said, somebody must have spilled some oil in here because there's like oil all around here. Kind of oily instead of just being wet. It's wet with oil kind of thing. And that hole over there, that little cover for the body mount, that looks in really good shape over here. So I think all of this stuff, see, that's exactly how it should look. It's all sealed all around the metal, and I don't think it's leaking, if any, a little bit on the bottom, but I really don't think it's leaking. I think it's sealed. This is all just from people coming in and out and shit not being cleaned for like 25 years or whatever. So that one over on this side, I'm just gonna glue into place. I forget where the little, oh yeah, here we go. So it's this thing that covers it up, right? And there's a rubber seal around the outside edge of it, and it's just kind of all I don't know, buggered up or whatever. But these tabs were broken too. There's little tabs that kind of fitted in there. You can see two of them there, but there's one that's broken on it, and then one that's that one's broken, and then this one's just completely gone. So I'm just gonna glue the shit in, and that should be good enough for that. So yeah, hopefully I'll have a full floor pan in here soon. Just finished welding up this and all these panels in here. Looks pretty good. You know, I'm not gonna grind down the welds or anything like that. I'm just gonna leave it like that, but everything's new metal. This is all very sturdy. I just wire wheeled it off, so most of the rust is off of it. I'm gonna wipe it down and put some paint on it so that maybe it prevents it from rusting again. Last thing I gotta do in here before I put the carpet on is glue this back in over to that little spot up there where it was leaking before, so that this shit doesn't happen anymore. So this should pass. This should pass. All right, the paint's dry. I've got just basically everywhere where it was rusted, I just covered over with a couple coats of paint. I got the hole all splooged up, ready to install this thing. See if I can get this on here with one hand. But basically, got these little clips, and yeah, Oh yeah, she's seating right in there, splooged right in. Let's give it a little extra little seal right around the edge there. Perfect. Nice. That shit is gonna not leak. And hopefully this won't happen again. Happy with the way it came out. Oh, yeah. Hopefully this should pass. So I'm just doing what needs to be done. All right, she's looking good. Look at all that carpet in there. It still kind of looks crappy, but I mean, at least it's mostly whole. I'm ready to put the seat back in, and yeah, hopefully go get my sticker up today. When I started it up, I shut it down, but I had to back it out of the garage. But well, the speedometer gauge is going all over the place. I probably should have gotten some of that on video. It stopped after a while, but I think it was probably because I was welding on shit. Anyway, I got it out here, and the one thing that I did kind of bust up while I was taking this thing apart was like these things, these little threshold things. They get installed like, you know, somewhere around there. The rust was so bad, the shit just broke out on these. So I'm gonna try to put this one back in, but I need to either make new ones or get new ones or something like that, because it's just plastic, you know. So it's all messed up. Anyway, the seat is ready to go back in, and I'm gonna do that now. There she is once again in her former glory. Got everything reinstalled, seat belts, the seats all tight, threw everything back in there. And yeah, I'm gonna go get my sticker. So this should be it. I'll be totally legal, right? I'll tell you just right now. See, look, here we go. Got the emissions, I got my weight class. I need one more right there. So let's go get it. I was told I'm all set. Am I all set? Am I all set? Oh, there it is. That beautiful, oh, look at that. It's for $3.19. Nice. I'm legal. I'm finally freaking legal. Oh my God, this is awesome. She rolled into this very spot about a year ago, and it's taken me that long. Put a lot of work into it, but I'm gonna call it done. Like, this is actually what I was going for on my restoration. I wanted to make sure that I could get these. That's really all I wanted. And you're saying to yourself, wait a second, what are you talking about? What about all the body work and stuff? I don't mind the body work so much. It's a work truck, you know. I'm gonna use it as a work truck. Still, you know. I honestly, I don't care unless it's a real problem. Like, there's a couple real problems with the body work. That window doesn't go, the passenger side window doesn't roll all the way down because the door's dented in too much. I'll undent that because I want to be able to roll down my windows. You know, the rocker panels, that's probably another good example. They're all rotted out. I mean, I want to get something under there so that the rest of the floor panels don't start rotting out. So just basically to stop the rust from getting to the floor pans. And then, yeah, I mean, the dents and dings and all that stuff, I might, you know, I don't know, I might do a couple other things, but like, as far as I'm concerned, the frame is in excellent shape. It has all new suspension components. I've gone through the rear. It's got a new drive axle, you know, axle, drive shaft. It's got everything. The motor is completely fresh, hot rod motor going on. And this is what I wanted. I wanted to be able to have just a freaking hot rod work truck on the road. So once I got those, this is my sticker day, I guess. I got all the stickers on the back too. Oh man, that American flag is reflective. Holy moly. Got all my stickers back here because, you know, that's what you do. That's what you do on your hot rod. You put your stickers on. As long as I can keep these, I'm good to go. Now, there's other things that I want to do with it too, you know, like I've got a stereo that I want to put in it so that I can listen to tunes when I'm going down the road and, you know, just other things like that. But it took me a year and I'm considering that I'm done on the restoration bit for this thing. Now, as far as making videos for it are concerned, yeah, I'll probably still make videos for it, like if I'm doing this thing or that thing, you know, little things. There's a list. You know, I want to put a transmission in it eventually, a manual transmission, a real transmission. And then, you know, that'll be probably a whole bunch of videos about that. But for now, I'm counting her done. So I'm just thrilled driving it around. I'm so happy about it. It's cool.